enjoyed. I look forward to seeing the finished object.
Yeah.
It's a little
It's
bed,
lovely,
isn't it?
Yeah.
But it does, it's truly, yeah, and it's really, it shows like the character of the different people growing. So double digging now, no dig way.
On the 8259, down near that end.
It's a reservoir by Highdown Gardens. So
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, this is Coldbury Nursery in Angmering. It's a CSA, and we've got two groups here. One's the CSA members do all the work and take the produce, and the other one we've got growers that grow the produce for the members. Originally it came out of an initiative from Transition Worthing for members getting together and saying they want local produce. There's not much local produce grown in the area. So about 10 of us got together and started up the CSA producing, and myself and Joss do most of the work and the picking and the sort of planting. And Transition get involved with sort of steering group and organisation. We organise other events here as well. We do apple pressing day, and we've had a vegetable day where we had a barbecue and fresh produce. It makes a big difference really, because you've got a guaranteed market for the produce. It's fine growing the produce, but you need that customer, and it's nice to have that link with the customer as well, so you can know what the customer wants.
Hi, I'm Hilly Cook, and this is the Cortis Avenue Wildlife Garden located in Worthing in West Sussex. And what we're planning to do here is we've got a community garden with some Sussex heritage variety apple trees, which will form a focus not only of sort of orchard care, but also looking at sort of community seasonal type celebrations around orchard times to bring the community together. The Transition Town local Worthing group have been tremendously supportive. For example, with our community orchard at the far end there, they worked with us to kind of source sort of heritage varieties. They facilitated, for example, the orchard planting. It also meant that they could actually have a sort of a site where they could actually sort of introduce sort of learning skills to sort of the wider public. So that's one example of how the sort of Transition Town and this site actually overlaps.
Cheers.
Okay, camera's going.
And thank you so much for inviting me along to celebrate what will be, I'm sure, from my briefing and from reading Rob's blog, a really, really enjoyable evening. So without further ado, can I introduce, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Worthing, Rob Hopkins.
We have been doing a series of what we call Transition Thursdays. So this is the fourth of 6 Transition Thursdays, although strictly speaking the first one was a Tuesday, so this is, it all gets a bit complicated then. But so we've been going to different places around the country where transition is going on and meeting the groups and doing stuff with the groups, and had a fantastic day here with Transition Worthing, which is always a project kind of watching transition unfolding around the country. Worthing has been one that's always been popping up on the radars, doing really interesting things and really creative things. So it's a place that I really wanted to come along and see what was happening here, so that was very exciting. Is this working? Really, ultimately, I guess, what underpins transition is this idea that there is no cavalry coming riding to the rescue of the places where we live. There is a role for government, of course. There is a role for business, of course, for local government, for us as individuals, the things we can do with our families and so on. But actually, there's a huge amount that we can do to be part of that solution. We come riding to our own rescue as communities and as local economies. And the woman who I spoke to, who lived in that building, she said, it's amazing. I've been living in Portalegre forever, 37 years, and I've felt my community and my city crumble, people turning their backs on each other. This community garden we created tells me it's possible to do things with other people. It is possible, we just need to wake up to each other again. We get a way that we try and apply the thinking that we currently use in terms of local food, that if you source local food, it's lower carbon, it creates more jobs locally, those sorts of arguments. You apply those to building materials. At the moment, something like 10% of carbon emissions globally are generated by the cement industry. Well, what does it look like if we actually had a development that used 80% local materials? Local timber, local clay, local stone, local straw, these kinds of things. And how different that would be in terms of the economy of how development happens. So when we launched the book, The Power of Just Doing Stuff, which I think there were copies of available if anyone would like after this evening, we brewed a special beer called The Power of Just Brewing Stuff, which came out at the same time. And we're hoping to launch something which will be a community-owned brewery, which will run as a catalyst for this new economy.